guests. However, they prefer the name Wicca, and Wicca means wise one. They are here to say that witchcraft, or the Wicca religion, has nothing at all to do with Satanism and devil worshiping. In fact, witchcraft is just like any mainstream religion. Please meet Scott Cunningham, Selena Fox, Antigua, and Ray Buckland. Now, I understand that we're going to start off with a blessing for all of us.
Goddess, you who created the universe, we greet you, we honor you, we invoke your presence in this studio. Bless all who are here and bring to whoever is willing to accept it the blessing of the female energy.
And those of you who feel comfortable with this next part, whatever your religion, let love pour from your heart and focus that love energy in the form of a radiant white light to this crystal that I hold in my hand. And with your mind now, imagine that light, that love that comes from all of us joining together, radiating out, going into the world, joining together people of all races, of all religions, of all nations, together in peace and harmony. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
All right. Sally, I think this is an important thing, what we have just seen here, the gathering of energy, of positive energy, and directing it to do good. I think this is the whole point of witchcraft. We are very much a do-good religion.
Absolutely. Wicca is basically living in harmony with nature. Wicca's not supernatural, it's natural. It's basically living with nature.
How did we get, or where does it come from, the feeling, are you all witches?
I call myself a Wiccan priestess more than the word witch because there's still so much misunderstanding about that word.
I call myself a Wiccan priest.
You're a Wiccan priest, you're a Wiccan priestess.
Well, I definitely proudly claim the word witch.
Okay.
And I claim it because even with the evil connotations it has, there's no other word that quite says powerful woman like witch does.
Well, yes, there is. But I just don't like the word witch myself because of all the misconceptions about the word. I mean, how many people here have terrible misconceptions about what witches are? Do they look like we do?
Well, let's talk about, what's your conception? Do you have a conception of witches?
I think when I hear the word witch, I equate it with the devil, devil worship of some type. And that's not always a good connotation.
Not at all. But you see, we don't worship the devil because we're not Christians. The only people who can worship the devil along that definition are Christians.
We are not involved in any form of devil worship or Satanism. And actually, see, we date from pre-Christian times. And originally the word witch basically meant a folk healer, someone that loved nature and helped other people. But during the Middle Ages, those who practiced the old religion got some bad PR, and a lot of misinformation got spread about the old ways. People went to the stake, and what we're trying to do here is clear up some of those misconceptions.
All right, let's start them one at a time. She said Satan, and I agree. If you have witches, you've got to have Satan. Anybody know where we got that from? Where did we get that
from? It comes from hundreds of years of propaganda. The beginning of printing came during the Middle Ages when the church had already established itself as a major religion and had pushed down anything that was non-Christian. So anything that was written about witchcraft or Wicca from those early days for hundreds of years was written from the Christian point of view. And so it was very heavily biased. It's only in the last 30 years that we've been able to write anything from the witchcraft point of view.
Not that it's changed most people's ideas of what witches are, though.
But if you're either for God or you're against God, that's where I think the Satan comes in.
And we are for
witches.
We are
very definitely
God, we are for God.
And for God.
And I think we all, no matter what our religion is, we're tuned into the divine. We're not into evil. I don't want any connection with the devil or with evil or any of that stuff because that's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a love space. And our rituals that we do are putting love into the world and building understanding amongst people and other life forms in nature.
I think basically if you tear away the words witch, the word God, the word Satan, everything, if you just say we're spiritual people trying to live spiritual lives in harmony with nature, that might sum up what witches are today.
Correct.
Would you explain who the goddess is that you prayed or spoke to in the beginning?
I'd love to. The triple goddess consists of three aspects. the virgin or maiden, mother, and crone. The virgin is she who is owned by no one. Notice the change over that's taken in the definition of that word under patriarchy. The mother is she who is in the fullness of her creative powers, and the crone is the old wise woman who is very much not honored in society today. So it's an honoring of the stages of women's lives.
The Gnostic Christians would call it Mother God, or those who are involved in some Christian mystical ways, and it's essentially the same thing. It's the female aspect of the divine.
Ray, you're English.
I am, yes.
In England, then, is this different there than in this country?
It's pretty much the same. In fact, it's pretty much the same universally. All around the world, you will find Wicca, a belief in these deities. Now, there's belief in deity in all religions, obviously, and I think much of it comes down to a question of labels. In Christianity, you put on the label of God or his son Jesus. In the Wicca, we think in terms of God and goddess for deity, with perhaps some Wiccans putting more emphasis on the goddess than the god. But it's the
really,
same deity, it's a positive deity.
But there's really no difference, really. Underlying all religions is the same thing. It's identification or union or adoration of the spiritual or supreme being. That which created everything around us, and which is no different than any other religion in that
And I think it's
sense.
really important that we look at the key law of the Wiccan religion, of witchcraft, which is, and harm none, do what you will, which is basically the same as the golden rule in Christianity. You do unto others as you want done to you. You do good to your neighbor. You don't harm them.
But you have called Christianity a man-made religion, and you think yours is not a man-made religion.
Well, we don't
Would you
just
explain that?
think historically it's not. Now, Christianity is a man-made religion insofar as there was Jesus who lived and died, and then a religion was built up based on his teachings, which were very good teachings, obviously. Whereas Wicca goes back 25,000 years or more, back to the beginnings of humankind, and has evolved very, very gradually and naturally as humankind has evolved. So in that sense, Christianity is a man-made religion, whereas we are a far more natural religion.
We're actually coming from ancient tribal days, and we have a lot in common with what Native Americans do when they pray and when they
I was going to
worship.
ask you, when your particular religion was founded, are you the same ones from like Salem, Massachusetts, those type of witches?
Well, I guess I should answer that question by saying the Wiccan religion is the name for the overall religion, and within it there's a lot of denominations and a lot of individual practitioners that aren't even connected with various groups or covens. And so there's a great diversity, but one thing we have all in common is that we love nature, we honor the divine, and we seek to help the world.
But wait a minute.
The Salem witches, which the lady mentioned, excuse me one moment,
Sure.
this may help clear it. This was part of the church's attack on anything non-Christian. The witches in Salem weren't witches at all. This was a political thing, a local political thing, started by hysterical children, and it was a way of getting rid of anybody you didn't like eventually. 19
So you're
people...
talking prejudice.
Right,
Exactly.
absolute prejudice.
Huh.
So they weren't witches per se. They were people who were charged with witchcraft, which is something quite different.
So if you're not sex biased, you really think that the female has more power than the male?
Absolutely
And the
not.
deity?
I think it depends on who you talk with. For
Right.
myself, I see there's a balance between male and female aspects of the divine, but the divine itself is beyond gender. It's something that's within all of us, and I see it as love.
I may have been attending feminist
sounds
sit-ins in the
You see,
70s.
so much of what you're saying, anybody not think that this sounds pretty logical and rational? No? You don't like it? All right, let's go with it.
Well, just in a second. I don't
Wait, let her have her say
Okay,
now.
okay.
Just don't like it. I just think it's Satan.
Could you be specific as to what you don't like?
I think if they wanted to impress someone, they ought to put a different name besides witch. Witch just scares
I
everybody
agree.
off.
I agree
If you
completely.
want to have
I don't
love
like
in
the
world,
word.
you could call it something other than witch.
I don't
Okay,
use
so
the
we'll
word
call
myself.
it Wicca instead.
Well, yeah, I
How does
prefer it.
Wicca feel? How do you like that?
I don't like that either. It's too near
There
like
are a lot of people who either now or certainly in the past didn't like the Jews. Now, if the Jews had just changed their name to something else, that wouldn't necessarily have made them acceptable. They would have still remained what they are, or what they were.
I
In the
think
same way we are what we are.
Wait, she was saying something. Sorry.
That's the difference. Jews are a race. Witch is not a race.
Oh, right, speaking about the Jewish religion then.
Uh-huh.
There are many different religions in this country, and we're all entitled to equal protection under the law, and I think it's important for people, and we're not saying convert to this.
Not at all.
Right.
We are not a
at all.
proselytizing religion, but what we are trying to do is clear up the misinformation that still persists in this day and age
So we
due
have
to
some,
hundreds
so
of years
let's,
of
let's go through and clear it up. Let me start with clearing up that Judaism is a religion as opposed to a race. Okay? Start with you.
Oh, I was just going to ask them if they believed in life after death.
Good question. Very good.
Absolutely.
I do.
You do. What kind of life do you go to after death?
Another life.
We believe in a series of lives.
what-
A series of lives in human form.
What happened if we have witches here? What about brooms, spells?
Well, I know how to spell broom.
These are all a part of the craft, and they are things which have come forward as sort of symbols for witchcraft. And yet they are a part, but not an important part, really.
No.
You have brooms, but it's
I
not
have a broom, and
yes.
I use it as a symbol
But
of the heart.
brooms were used many, many years
but not
ago.
to ride on.
No,
Not
We'll take a
literally
break.
to
We'll
ride.
be
Never
right
taken a ride on a broom.
So we will move very quickly, if that's possible.
I'd like to ask, do you consider yourselves as descendants of the Druids?
There is a connection, a vague connection. The Druids were specifically the priesthood of the Celts, and they were on the scene for a relatively short time. So there is a connection there, but no really direct
Are you born
line.
witches, or is it something you just
We sort of, I think we just basically realize that other religions don't satisfy us, and so we're looking for a religion that does satisfy us. And I think
I've identified with the word witch ever since I was very young, but I was raised fundamentalist Christian. I didn't find a conflict between Christ's teachings of honoring the divine and helping other people and the basic teachings of the craft. And I find it's more all-encompassing, and it suits my needs, and it's one religion where women can be ministers.
It's one religion where women are honored.
Okay, where is it exactly you worship? Do you have like a church or?
We often worship outdoors when we can. That's my favorite spot.
But there are groups all around the country, and there are churches specifically, or temples, if you like, but there are groups all over the
We
not
have
only the country,
land
but the world.
that's a nature preserve, and part of our ceremonies are done there, and we seek to connect with nature.
pretty
in
much our
ceremonies.
religious rituals that take place in it can be anywhere. We just take place in a non-physical temple we
In
create
somebody's living
with
room.
energy. Right.
Like the early Christians, it often happens in someone's home or their backyard. You might have witches in suburban America right down the street from you.
My experience with witches were in fairy tales and things like that. But neither one of you gentlemen mentioned the word warlock.
Now, the word warlock was used during the persecutions. It comes from a Scottish word warloga, which actually means truce breaker. And it was applied to somebody who was taken in the persecutions and under torture would give away the names of other people.
Well, supposedly,
So
but
it
was
so
popularized
we don't
by,
use it ourselves
television
these
shows.
days. No,
No,
male
no,
or
no.
female.
Why have you say you're the most persecuted people on the face of the earth?
And
More than women?
persecutions
Seems
are
to be
still
so.
happening
More
now.
than women? More than
I don't
blacks?
think, I think
More
we may
than-
be more persecuted religion than most persecuted religion, perhaps.
Why do you think that happens?
There was
Because of the
misunderstandings from the Middle Ages, and right now there are people who have lost jobs that have been run off their land by
Committed
people that call
suicide.
themselves Christians, which I think is really ludicrous. Having studied Christianity, Christ came to teach love, and I think it's important that we honor the Constitution in this 1987 year because we're guaranteed freedom of religion.
What do you do in your ceremonies? Do you speak with spirits? That's what most people would consider witches would do.
Well, we basically speak with our deities, just like any other religious ceremony. We have different forms and different structures. We may say different words, but basically a ritual is a tuning with deity.
We
There are
commune
many
with the divine in nature.
There are many different denominations within witchcraft, as there are within Christianity.
Right.
So the exact specifics vary from group to group, but generally they follow the same pattern. We worship the same times of year, honor the same deities.
I think what troubles me is I have a picture in my mind of a dark room and people in robes splitting around with candles and
Well,
things.
that sounds like
and-
monks.
Oh!
Well,
rituals do you have?
it depends. I mean, a lot of the rituals we used to do, cutting in, we used to go out to the mountains and sit underneath the trees and watch, and watch the shadows of the sun in the leaves, communing with nature.
Well, some
some
people do.
I don't like
Some people
robes,
wear
though.
regular clothes.
But it
I
basically
don't like
comes
robes.
down to thanking the gods for what we have and asking them for what we need, much as in any other religion.
We sing. We pray together. We send energy. We raise energy and send it to people who have asked to be healed.
Healing is an important part of the ministry as I do it.
Do you use do you cast spells?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how you define that word. I
Right.
prefer to say we send healing prayers, but if you call a spell anytime you send good energies to help someone, I guess in that
In the same way, a Roman Catholic could say a prayer to make Uncle George get better, who's very, very sick.
Exactly.
In
A
effect,
prayer
he's
is a
casting a spell.
Okay. Could we have a rating spell?
A rating spell.
Oh, you want us to do it? Maybe
And
we
a-
should do
yeah.
it right
Yeah,
now.
I really think that we could use a rating spell. I
do
mean,
it.
is there a spell? It certainly doesn't hurt anybody.
Okay, no magic will work unless you back it up with physical effort.
Okay, tell me what you want us to do.
Have
positive.
compelling shows.
What?
Have compelling shows.
Ah,
You'll
that's
get the
all
rating.
we can do?
No, no, no.
There's
Well,
no
positive about
extra nature will help you out thing?
I think what you should do is visualize your ratings going up in your mind every day and imagine them where you want them to be.
Visual-
It's positive thinking.
We
is
could
possible.
all get...
Visualization is a very powerful tool.
see people tuning in.
Part of what what I might do is to really keep my focus on the result I want.
Right.
And also check back with reality where I am, but not worry about how to get there.
So any of us could have anything we really wanted if we would project that we the end result
a lot.
But everybody has built-in limitations created by society. So that's
And I think it's important that's in harmony with the divine, too. You don't want to put these powers to selfish ends. You can help yourself, but you can see the overall picture so that you're helping the planet, too.
And usually I say for the good of all, according to the free will of all, when I do some work.
Right. So when we hear on the news about people finding dead cattle and this type of thing, are there Satan worshippers out there?
I'm sure there are all sorts of perverts out there, and of course it sells newspapers and it switches channels to put the label witchcraft or...
That has nothing to do with all those negative things.
I've never met
It's
a
against
Satan.
our religion. Never met a Satan.
I've never met a Satan.
But we do these things. We hear somebody who's done terrible things.
Of course it just sells newspapers and it...
But that's not you guys.
Not at all.
We're opposed to it. We're totally opposed to it.
If you look at Glenda the Good Witch and see what she embodies, that hooks our enemy. But that other witch has certainly made that word witch negative. And so we ought to think of Glenda the Good Witch when you think about our kind of witches.
Where are you all from? Is anybody from Salem?
No, I'm from Barnaville, Wisconsin, a very small town, Wisconsin.
San Diego, California.
San Diego?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis?
San Diego, California.
San Diego. I would like to know how you all got together, and you said you do a lot of your preaching, whatever, outside. Do you have any followers, and does anybody support your cause?
Okay, we don't preach. We don't preach and we're not proselytizing. We don't believe any one religion is right for everyone. How can any one religion be right for everyone?
I find that
Help people get spiritual experience.
I find that when I talk about the goddess and when I talk about the female divinity, that a lot of women think.
Do you use hypnotism or deep meditation to further the
Deep meditation.
Meditation quite a lot.
Progressive relaxation, which I'm also a psychotherapist. And fortunately, that ancient method is coming into use and helping people deal with a lot of stress in their lives. It's a perfectly natural, normal way of getting yourself healthy.
I'd like to know if that emblem on your forehead, is it a meaning of witchcraft, or what is it?
It's the crescent moon, and the moon is very much associated with women's cycles, the new moon, the full moon, and the dark moon.
There are also goddess symbols right in American culture. Lady Liberty. How many people have seen the Statue of Liberty? That's a pagan goddess. Pagan meaning a nature religion. And Wicca is a kind of nature religion. And we honor liberty. And you'll find aspects of our religion throughout the culture, whether you realize it or not.
You don't believe in the Bible?
I feel it's a holy book, and I respect other people's religions, and I feel Christ's teachings in the Bible are good ones for people no matter what their background.
Well, a lot of the teachers say it's not our book. I mean, this is the Torah.
You have a book?
Each of us has our own book.
What about Samantha?
There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun, and
Real witch, Samantha?
well, not in our sense, but she was a lot of fun, and I didn't have no quarrels
I
with her.
wish I could wiggle my nose and get all the housework done.
No victim. Every knock on the door. And every telephone call feels like a potential threat. We know. We're the Rape Crisis Center. Call our 24-hour hotline, 233-3088.
Well, we just found out that Yoda was a Wiccan. All right? So and the Force be with you. In fact, I could say that truthfully. Okay. May the Force be with you. Thank you for being with us today.
Some members of our audience will receive, and a promotional fee has been provided by...
Grapefruit juice? Good for you, but... That's okay? Well, pour on Ocean Spray Pink Grapefruit Juice chocolate. It's tangy, sweet. Hey.
A Kelvinator No Frost 16 cubic foot refrigerator freezer, only 28 inches wide, has 4 adjustable cantilevered shelves, see-through meat keeper, and twin quick proof from Kelvinator.
Hotel accommodations for the Sally Jesse Raphael Show are provided by the Omni International Hotel St. Louis Union Station. The Omni International Hotel. We're more than a hotel. We're a destination. If you would like tickets to be in our studio audience, please give us a call at 314-444-5159.
Are men threatened by strong women? Find out on the next Sally Jesse Raphael, Monday at 10. Now, stay tuned for Scrabble next.